Okay, back here doing chapter 5 of The Art of Conversation. The title of this chapter is Developing the Timing Instincts That Make You an Outstanding Conversationalist. I don't know if you heard the phrase that, quote unquote, timing is everything. So that's kind of related in a sense to this chapter. Um, so, yeah, to try to summarize this whole chapter, it's kind of like uh, if you have a group of people talking and you have to gauge their. So the crux of this chapter is basically observation. You gotta you have to be kind of observant, really observant listener. Try to listen really well. Uh, I apologize. I'm like pretty sleepy. I just kind of woke up and sun's not even up right now, and I'm like half awake. So the timing may not be best to start a video, but I don't mind. I guess I like to talk. So yeah, timing is really important in conversations. I imagine if somebody has autism, the timing is like, it's hard for them to figure out. But I think the key thing is just you have to be really observant of what the group conversation is. So what their moods are, and synchronize your speech and the content in your speech and even your moods probably with the group. So you're kind of like aligning up. It's almost like you're tuning in a radio into the frequency of the group or the group frequency, whichever everybody's at. And so in order to fit in the group, you have to tune yourself into the group. Tuning, if you ever used an old radio, or now most radios are just digital, so you got to tune into the digital radio uh, or channel. Like what's the title of the channel? Um, so that's kind of the summarize this chapter. The key is just like I said, observing people's moods. So it's a longer chapter. Um, Again, I pause. I always try to remind everybody. It's like because I don't think many video. I don't know any other channel that pauses a lot. I think a lot of people edit their videos. I don't edit my videos. I think I only edited once. It was like one of the first videos. But um, the only editing is I'm adding this background, which I probably could speak a little bit about. This is OpenAI background, and I used some words like monkey, monkey, beer, sailboats. So it generated. It's a Dolly 2. I ran out of credits, but I'm just using the. I'm gonna try to pick a new image for each video, so you guys can have a chance to look at the art. But yeah, I pause, quote unquote art. It's artificial. uh, I pause, like I said, use that as meditation. Um, Use it to play a game of chess or something while you listen to me, or listen, or even better, listen to yourself. Find out what is your brain, uh, what kind of conversation is your brain going to have with yourself during the pauses. Most people get bored real easily. Uh, so I ran out of tea. I'm embarrassed. My teacup is so unsanitary. I'm really embarrassed by it. So I actually drank the whole cup before I started this video because I'm realizing I should clean my cup. I don't. I'm so lazy. I'm too lazy. But so what happens is all the tea and coffee gets stuck in a cup. So makes me embarrassed. Beer doesn't have that problem. Uh, okay, I'm gonna kind of tell you what the section titles are. How to sharpen your sense of timing. That's reacting to the other fellow's excitement, the other person's excitement. Uh, what to do when you're enthusiastic, but the other person is tired or wrapped up in their own thoughts. What to do when when the other person's ego is riding high. What to do when the other person wants to unwind a bit. Keeping your listeners attentive. How to aim your conversation at their interests. How to key your conversation into their educational level. It's kind of like the modem argument. I mean, the modem modulator demodulator analogy I said in the last video. See, when it pays you to be right, first be sure you have complete information. Be sure you're talking to the right person. Keen into the conversational climate, discovering a group's conversational climate, conversing in tune with the climate, breaking up deadlocks because of differences of opinion or conflicts of interest. So that's kind of like the section titles of this chapter. Okay, so let's go into some detail here. Again, I pause, so use that as meditation to get to learn who you are, become your own best friend, learn how to love yourself, learn how to have a great relationship with yourself, so that you can have great relationships with other people, great people. That's how I like use the pauses as meditation, positive meditation. As I read here, I'll interpret it because I have to respect the copyright of the author. So the author points out it's very to know the right moment to speak up or keep quiet is a very critical asset or profitable asset, uh, and that good timing is a vital part of this. Another summary that this chapter is yeah, observation is key. Having empathy, being very empathetic, is very valuable. It's still unusually cold where I am. It's like, I guess I heard somebody say it's like 10 degrees cooler than it's supposed to be. 10 degrees below normal. That's why I'm wearing this big sweater. Got bags underneath my eyes. I'm just tired, so waking up early. But so, how to sharpen your sense of timing? So yeah, you put yourself in the other person's clothing. Uh, are they enthusiastic or they're tired? Like, I kind of feel tired. So how would you talk to me? I feel tired. You could say, oh, you could have empathy, like saying, yeah, I feel tired too. Sleepy, not awake yet. Have some coffee. Actually, I already had 4 cups of coffee and a cup of tea, uh, which is now empty. So you talk with the person the way best message how you feel. So yeah, being a good list. I mean, the whole crux of this whole book. I mean, we're like 4 chapters in, or 5 chapters in now, and I'm starting to gauge it. It's just the key is being a good listener. I mean, observing is almost more valuable in the conversation than speaking, and I think because a lot of people have very short attention spans. That's why these short videos are so popular, because nobody has an attention span, or it seems like we all life is short. So yeah, that's why we have short videos. instead of long videos, and that's why they're so much more popular. But then having a short attention span doesn't really allow for a deep connection to anything, really. Um, uh, and also pauses. People are very uncomfortable with pause. It's a fascinating thing. Why is even myself like in my life, I would watch like I'd see a speaker in person, like speaking in front of a lot of people, and whenever there's like a long pause, like if they didn't know something, I would feel really awkward. It just, but why do we feel awkward? That's or how is it that we feel awkward during those silent moments in speech, which are I bet somebody there's probably could spend a million years just trying to understand that little what happens when there's silence in speech. But I think part of it is we're uncomfortable not only with the speaker when it's silent, but we're also uncomfortable with ourselves and our own minds because we're like you just like yeah, if you're standing in line or waiting in traffic and nothing's happening and we realize our lives are short, so we want to get to the next thing, whatever the next thing happens to be, instead of just reflecting on our own existence I mean, or using it as a philosophical moment, maybe trying to discover something. I guess some of the like Einstein's discoveries didn't occur when he was sitting down at a desk. It may have occurred when he was walking with a friend somewhere. Uh, I don't know, and probably occurred at times. The great ideas may have occurred at times when I wasn't really thinking about it. Just had a free flowing mind. But yeah, use my pauses as meditation. Get to learn what your brain, what's inside your brain, and what is it saying, and you know, listen to it just to act as an observer, like a good listener inside your own mind. Be a good listener because that's you could have a great art of conversation with yourself, art of conversation with yourself, and that's how to have a great relationship with yourself too. And then you can have great conversations with other people potentially. I think that's my hypothesis. Or you could talk to a monkey, ask for some sip of a beer or something. I don't know what this monkey's doing. I actually, you can't see below. Further down, there's like a chessboard. I'll just show it to you because I added like a chessboard to this. If I can show it. Oh, see there, chessboard, bananas, another bottle. There's sailboats up there. Okay, so I'm off getting off topic as I always do. And the titles of these videos probably need to say the chapter and then a bunch of random stuff, a bunch of totally unrelated information. So the author points out, let the other person's feelings determine your timing. Because I don't know how you feel watching this video, but I can't tell if you're tired. I can't tell if you're mad, angry, sad, whatever. So it's like I can't tune my timing because this is all asynchronous. Asynchronous, yeah. Or actually, it's simplex communication. It's one direction. It's not full duplex. So, uh, and that's one of the big problems with social media is this, there's not only is it missing metaverbal, but it's also missing. I mean, it's asynchronous, so it's not real time, uh, and so conversations are all convoluted and asymmetrical, and just I think our brains weren't have not yet evolved. Well, have not yet evolved. We created a machine or toy, a tool that we don't know what the f. I want to say a nasty word. We don't know what copulation we're doing with it. I mean, we created it. Well, I didn't create it, but I mean, other people created the tool. But I think it's just kind of maybe it's like monkeys discovering beer or something like that. I don't know. uh, but there was a when I was in social media, um, there was a friend of mine, actually a classmate, made a very good point that yeah, when you're talking in text messaging, and asynchronous communications, uh, you don't get the other person's facial expressions, which is so extraordinarily valuable and underrated right now. So that's one of the biggest problems in the internet right now is the text. The early internet was really slow speed, so text made sense, and so that kind of seems to have kind of got carried a little bit forward. But now that we have a little bit higher bandwidth, I think it's probably more crucial that people uh, at least maybe try to communicate with video if you can, or real time if you can. You may not be able to. I know some places in the world. I talked a little bit in our prior videos. There's a place in the world that got more fiber optic cables than anyone probably. so, so they may become more advanced than everybody else. I don't know. But anyways, I'm I kind of see that at least asynchronous videos would be little bit better than if you don't do real time video connections. Um, at least you can capture some of the metaverbal and real time interaction. But I just yeah, all the emotional facial expressions are so valuable, and we kind of like with social media that we felt. I seemed like we thought we can just interact without it, and I think it kind of really that's one of the big problems with text is it's really challenging to communicate emotions in text, and there's no metaverbal information in text messages. I'm just fiddling around with my screen here. It's like I see like a little bar at the bottom here. I'm trying to be a perfectionist. um, so if the other person has a high ego, yeah, I mean, it just being a good listener just seems like the crux of this book. But like in text, how can you be a good listener if you're just reading text? You can't see what their facial expression. You don't know what their emotions are. Yeah. So empathy. Empathy is like the key word in conversation here. Okay, so let's. The mic's back on. Hey Google, define the word empathy. Here's the definition of empathy: the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. And so that makes, I mean, I'm just, this whole book so far, the first 5 chapters at least, is empathy. And that's what you don't have in these textual communications. You can't, it's hard to gauge what people's feelings are. I mean, it's almost, I don't even know, unless people start the text message or comment saying, I feel depressed, or I feel sad, or I feel happy, or I feel angry. But you have to add, and I don't very rarely see that in the text message at the start. So it's like, you almost need to have that as like a required text message header. It's like, this is what my face looks feels like, or maybe just a picture of your face. So at least you might have. And some people hide their feelings too behind their face, have a mask. So I think actors are really good at uh, creating emotional expressions or hiding emotional expressions. I don't know how do actors act when they've had a bad day or when they've like feel have certain emotions. It's kind of interesting to think about. At least for me, that's my opinion, which could always be wrong. And of course, people only interested in what I mean, not only, but people are predominantly interested in what they know about what their interests are, their educational level and personal experience. So it kind of goes back to the Spock mind reading. Can you read? Can I read a person's mind? Can I reach out and touch you and read your mind over there on the other side of the internet screen, like Spock, Star Trek? I gotta put another. I put in prior videos in case you didn't see it. With how Spock in Star Trek, connects to your brain like a neural network link. Listening before you speak. So yeah, before you speak, observe with your eyes and your ears what the gathering of people are talking about, and what is the particular topic they're holding interest in the moment, and then you you need to match that or something close to it. You don't want to deviate too far because otherwise people go, "What the fuck? F? What the f are you talking about?" Otherwise, you'll be too much of an outsider. So you have to be well connected to what is being spoken. Otherwise, and then also people would view you as not listening. If you enter a group conversation and totally different topic, you speak about, they're all going to think you're not listening to them, and that alone will make them less interested in conversing with you because right away it tells them that you're not listening to them, and so it's really valuable to be closer connected to the when you it's like merging. Think of it as like merging onto a freeway. If you're driving a car and you're trying to get onto a freeway and there's all this traffic coming in, it's very similar to that. It's like so you're kind of trying to yield yourself into the conversation. It's like yielding your vehicle into speed of the traffic. So you got to go the same speed as the other cars about, and you got to see where you can fit in. And sometimes they won't let you in because there's too much traffic, too much talking. Like I talk all the time. Uh, so that's why pauses are for speakers. At least in my opinion, it's good to have some pauses in there so that other people can come in and join the conversation. So yeah, educational level. You want to try to match their knowledge level. In prior videos of this topic, I talked about like a modulator, demodulator, how modems learned how to communicate with each other. Or yeah, they actually kind of learn how to what speed they can talk to each other. There, if you're old enough, if you're as old as I, if you're as been around the sun enough times as I have, because I lived before the internet was born. Speaking about birth of the internet, you can do a whole other video on that. But so the modems would learn how to try to figure out what speed they could communicate at. And you could hear the sounds of the modems when they talk to each other. And in a way, it's kind of like people, depending on what their level of education is. If they have a lot of experience and knowledge in a specific area, um, that person has to kind of adjust their speed of communication to what your level is, or vice versa, in order to communicate. And that's almost like the modem negotiation. Negotiating your speed. You're trying to figure out what words they're familiar with, what words they're not familiar with. Once you hit a level that's about the same, then you can communicate that level. That's a very similar concept. Also, uh, if you're familiar with a Venn diagram, the Venn diagrams like different ideas, where they overlap, what they have in common. That's the area you can focus in the conversation. Like say one person loves fishing, another person loves canoes. Okay, the overlap is both are probably have some water. Both are connected by water because you have to fish in the water and you have to have uh, boats and fishing are connected by water, so you can talk about water together. The author talks about when it pays you to be right. Um, if you're trying to motivate somebody to do something, it helps to be accurate, have complete information. And the author talks about conversational climate. Is the group happy, sad, tired, angry, eh, crazy, dancing, uh, making weird sounds, or whatever? So you got to listen, observe before you speak. About 2 seconds of listening, the author says, is all you need to spot the or gauge the group if it's happy, jovial, serious, worried, or apprehensive, bored, or tired. And you can't really gauge that in social media. That's one of the problems with social media. So again, this is kind of like tuning your radio. Tuning when you approach a group that's talking, you're like tuning your radio receiver to the frequency of the group frequency of the band. What, where are they talking at in the spectrum of of mood and emotions? Where are they? Where are they in that? And then you got to tune your transmitter at the inside the group frequency so that you can fit in and communicate. And yeah, that allows you to go with the flow, so to speak. So it's almost like the wind. It's like or the tide. The author uses the tide as a analogy, and I'll use wind. Like see these sailboats up there. So yeah, the group you can think of it as like a group of sailboats in conversation. Well, the conversation is topic is the wind speed and the wind direction. And if you can interact with the fleet of ships, fleet of boats by knowing what the wind is coming from and what speed it's at, and you adjust your you control your ship in a manner so that you can keep up with the group. So how do you break up deadlocks? um, because you can have a difference of opinion, conflicts of interest. I mean, this is what makes lawyers have a job. Maybe also why a lot of skippers of this country that I'm in, at least on the one I'm born in, are seem to be lawyers. Almost every one. Not all of them. There was one that wasn't a lawyer. Uh, I guess he was a peanut farmer, but actually he might have been more than a peanut farmer because I was talking to one guy who said he's a peanut farmer, but he was actually a nuclear submarine engineer. So big difference, but I guess I can emphasize peanut farmer. um, but yeah, differences of opinion, conflicts of interest. They said one of the things that happens, I guess, if politics fails, that's when war starts. So, um, or the failure of communications. Yeah, I wish we could evolve beyond destruction. Maybe it's not enough beer or something. I don't know. Maybe I. That's the thing about when people fight. Uh, they're saying you don't ever want to get in a fight with a drunk because they don't feel any pain. So, uh, okay, so how to break up deadlocks and conflict of interest? What do I have here? Let's see. Gotta give people a chance to calm down. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this chapter. I breaking up deadlocks. There's only like a few pages on it, and I look at that as like, okay, I mean, if you're trying to mediate two conflicting parties, you can take a Venn diagram, find out what the people have in common, whatever's in common, where the intersections are. Then that's where you can try to expand on. Oh yeah, giving somebody a chance to have their opinion without losing face. Yeah, too bad Olympics and competition can't stop all. I mean, peaceful competition can't would be able to stop war, but it doesn't seem to always work. That's for the chimp. We're more like chimpanzees instead of bonobos. I think these look like more like bonobos, are a little smaller, more chilled out monkeys. Um, I don't think we humans are much different than monkeys. Just our tools. Our tools are a lot more elaborate, and we work harder, and we are dangerous at scale, as opposed to just being just living in the jungle. So the next chapter, chapter 6, is awakening your senses. So they add sparkle to your conversation. So awakening your senses: eyes, nose, ears. You know what's weird is like with the social media, we've kind of lost. Maybe we've lost the art of conversation. Because you can't really have conversation in real time by text. A long time ago, people used to write letters, and it'd take days, months, or even years. Who knows however long the letter took to get back or back and forth. So it's like a real long time between messages. But now with the internet, it's like super fast, but we're using text, and so it's like there's just so much missing information that normally in the past would have been like face to face. So there's kind of a big problem with that. I remember talking to a friend of mine, and friend of mine made a really good point, and I mean, it's more kind of an emotional point, but how the emojis, you know, I look at emojis as like okay, it's like it's interpolation of emotion. Well, it's really more of a vast, very inaccurate extrapolation of a person's emotion. But my friend was pointing out, yeah, he doesn't like the emojis. Little text attempt. It's an attempt to extrapolate what a person's emotions are, and we didn't evolve millions of years to simplify our. I mean, I think maybe it's too easily misunderstood. I guess is what I'm trying to say. But he made a good point that the emojis they don't. The idea that picture is 1,000 words. Well, a little emoji is not 1,000 words. It's maybe like 5 words or something. They try to describe what an emotion is, and so they're really maybe negative. I mean, how can I say negative? May cause incorrect or great misinterpretations of emotion and confusion and disconnect. And they certainly do not tell the truth. They may give you a hint, or may give you the wrong hint. I mean, the opposite truth. So yeah, that's a big problem with emoji. That's another reason why I'm doing these videos because I feel like social media is just so completely inadequate. In fact, probably even detrimental in a sense, or hazardous in a sense to good conversation. Because I think we're losing the art of conversation. We may have lost the art of conversation because of the internet, the text. uh, and that's really important, especially when I try to keep civilization going. I need to have set a goal for myself to have more in-person interaction. Just um, that's another big problem with social media is that it it's in a way it's kind of a crutch or a wheelchair. It's like why step into a wheelchair when you can still walk? It's like you're riding your wheelchair all over the place when you can walk. I guess if you have, maybe it's good for people with autism. Maybe it's bad. I don't know. I have no idea, or maybe I'm completely clueless and mindless about this. But it's not the real thing. Yeah, it's definitely yeah. So it's yeah. Social media's kind of cheapened or diminished face to face interaction. Maybe causing more problems than it is. It may be more negative than it is positive. I guess because we're just not really. I don't know. I'm just talking out loud, thinking out loud here. What I say can be completely wrong, but so that's it for this. See how far we are quite a ways through the book here, about halfway. As I always try to say, you have a great day wherever you are. Try to go out there as homework. Maybe talk to 20 people if you can. If you got the time, go out there, talk to. Actually, I had a friend said some really good advice because I myself I'm a horrible conversationalist. I'm not. I'm like probably worst at it. So the reason why I'm reading this book, but uh, I used to like for a while, maybe about a decade ago or so, probably over a decade ago. I would actually I got some pretty good advice from somebody. Just go out and talk to three different people a day in person. It's probably it's almost like a essential nutrient for your body or for your social health is to go physically talk to at least maybe three different people every day if you can. If you don't live on an island or on a sailboat in the middle of the ocean. But if you can do that, it'll probably improve your social health, especially as you learn how to have richer and richer or beneficial, more and more beneficial social interactions. I really probably should take my own advice and do that because I don't really do that. I mean, I honestly I don't. I spend a lot of time with things instead of people, which is not really a healthy way to live life. So yeah, I really should probably change that in my own behavior. Um, so, but yeah, I've been so tired of social distancing. I feel like I've been in quarantine for 3 years. I only last 3 years I only took one trip, and that was like just 2 hours drive from where I'm at here right now. That was it, and now I'm like going crazy. I think I bought tickets like 3 times to go somewhere, and I canceled like the first time because something happened. Oh yeah, the virus kept traveling around the world and mutating to all kinds of space alien type shapes or whatever. And so so the world is shut down. And then the second time I bought a ticket and then uh, somebody that I kind of work with had a problem, had a little bit too affectionate of a relationship with alcohol, so uh, kind of had to adjust to that a little bit. Uh, and actually, that ticket I lost. I just made a donation to the airline because I guess they needed it more than I did for some reason. Uh, but hopefully I'll get to travel. Because yeah, life is too short to be in one place for too long. Of course, if you're just sitting in a chair, like I say, you're still traveling through space. You're in a spaceship essentially, spaceship Earth. So I mean, in some ways you don't have to travel, but I look at it as good. especially if you go far away from where you are. Uh, you can have a chance to interact face to face with people, and what's even more fun is to do it if you don't have a common language with the person. That's even more fun and more challenging, and I think my opinion is it's healthy to go somewhere where you don't have a common language. It's kind of a little bit scary because if something goes wrong, you don't know how to communicate. So you have to use your other skills, your metaverbal skills, and your Pictionary, charade skills to get around. Yeah, one time I traveled. I was trying to get to a friend. I still haven't met this person, but I was still trying to get. Uh, Actually, I was trying to use a bus system to get there, and I'm a native English speaker, and so there's nothing in English, and I didn't know the writing on this all the signs. None of the signs were English, so but yeah, maybe I'll figure how to. It's it takes extraordinary patience to try to learn another language, especially the older you are. It's even more challenging, but it's fun. Uh, I think yeah, what I needed to do was write the characters down and figure out how to type the characters in a translation device. And maybe I'll do that next time. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun if you don't have, like I said, if you don't have a common language. Yeah, the different characters around the world too are fascinating. Different language characters. I mean, somebody could write a book. I mean, here's a book idea for somebody. It's how the art of conversation without a common language. how do you how do you artistically communicate if you don't have any common language? It's like how do you talk to an alien? uh, Spend like 10,000 years just trying to figure that out. But yeah, I kind of like the challenge of going somewhere where I don't. But if you're sick or something, and that makes it even more challenging. But just trying to get from A to B. Uh, I mean, there's a time when I was in Costa Rica, and I didn't. I don't speak any Spanish. I should speak Spanish. I don't, but I only know poco tiene palabras en español. Yo necesito más español palabras. That's what I'm saying. I said a few things in Spanish. I don't know if you understand Spanish, but anyways, I was trying to find a bus. I rode a bus somewhere, and it had like a number on it, and so that was the price of the bus, and I can't remember. It was like 50 pesos or something like that, and it's like, so I got there, and I walked around, and then I wanted to come back, and I noticed like, okay, there's different bus numbers, or the price is 50 pesos, 70 pesos. And so I figured, oh, I just take the bus the same price to get back, not the destination or whatever. So I ended up somewhere else, and I rode that bus till I was the last person on the bus. The bus driver was kind of looking at me like, "Who the f are you? What are you doing?" so, so I got off the bus, uh, some strange neighborhood. I don't know where it was. Luckily, it was good weather, and so I started walking down around. I did have a landmark in my brain because I knew there was like a tower. There was like a radio tower. And I think I could see that, so I figured, okay, that's where I'll go because that's where I was. But I also kind of cheated because I had an old GPS with me. One of the really old, or super old GPS. If you're young, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But it's like it's GPS with no map. Well, I mean, it has a pixel map, a little black pixels, really rough, and you can mark like one location, and so I had that, but I don't know if I used that or not. I kind of used it, but I had to. What helped me most was I knew that there was a tower. So if you ever go somewhere, you know, that you're unfamiliar with and you don't know the language, always before you leave wherever where you want to get back to, just look around for obvious landmarks like a radio tower or some weird tall building or mountain or something like that. But an interesting thing about Costa Rica is that they don't have any streets. There's a song. Okay, I'll put in the comments. The song "The Streets with No Names." That's what Costa Rica reminded me. It was San Jose, and yeah, there's like if you want to go somewhere, you just say, "Oh yeah, the street next to the house with a tree and a monkey," or whatever. Uh, Pura vida. That's what it's saying there. Pure life. Um, but yeah, having landmarks is really helpful. Uh, I had a friend that was telling me, a friend that I work with told me somebody went to Costa Rica and got killed at a bus stop somehow, hit squat. That was weird because I got off a bus stop somewhere in San Jose and somebody hit me with the on the back of the head, my backpack or something like that. Thankfully, didn't kill me, but I was with somebody. It's always another thing about traveling to some place you're not familiar with. It's probably beneficial to try to be friends with some people locally before you try to even get there. Try to know some local people that you can connect to in case something goes bad or something like that. There's a big difference between traveling alone and traveling with people. A lot less risk traveling with people. Uh, if you're with intelligent, safe people, unless it's the opposite of that. But and then there's traveling solo, which is a little more risky. It's pros and cons of each. If you travel with people, it's easier to be relaxed and chilled out, but then you're kind of in a vacation state of mind, which may not necessarily be a good thing depending on what you want. But then traveling solo traveling, I mean, you have complete control. I mean, not complete control. You have a lot more freedom on what you want to do each day and where you want to go. Um, it keeps you on your toes a lot more. I mean, you need to be on your. I mean, it seems like, but yeah, there's good and bad with both. Uh, which one do I like? I like both. Uh, both types of travel is fun. I mean, sometimes traveling with somebody, the other person may want to do certain things, or your personalities may not always match. So yeah, there's always downsides with traveling with somebody else. There's always upsides too. I mean, you have a shared memory. Once you create a shared memory, uh, you can keep that for life, and that's valuable. When you travel by yourself, a little bit more challenging to share the memory with other people because it's just inside your mind. But then I guess if you share it on YouTube, maybe you can share the memory with the world. I guess that's one one positive aspect of solo travel via YouTube. Um, One of the types of YouTube channels I like to watch a lot is the sailing YouTube channels. I really admire. Oh, my computer's uh, being noisy. I really admire a lot of the sailing YouTube channels, especially the ones that are, the videos that have all these different problems to deal with. Because you're basically taking civilization. I mean, you're taking like a compressed part of civilization in your ship with you out to the ocean, and so it's much more challenging way to live. It's not an easy lifestyle, but it's a fascinating lifestyle. It can be dangerous at times, just as it is dangerous to be in a big city driving around in a vehicle. uh, but I really love watching those types of YouTube channels, and also people who are in vehicles driving around too, or land vehicles. If I was a trillionaire, I would design like a home that you can go on the water and the land, and underwater and fly. All those do all those things and then just travel around the world and actually make it so that it's affordable vessel for as many people as possible. But that would be, I mean, that'd be awesome. A vehicle you could take out in the ocean, cross the Pacific Ocean, go wherever in the ocean, and then go on the land with it at the same time, or fly it and have it fly somewhere. I guess it'd be like a duck. Duck's like the only animal that I know of that can float on the water, can go on the land, can fly, can go underwater. So we're not. I guess we haven't gotten there yet. Somebody hopefully out there, that might be you, to build a home like that where you can just travel the world and be at least temporarily for maybe a month or a few months at a time. Be very self contained and or even renewable. Be even more incredible. You can make it renewable. You can grow your own food on it and generate your own water and capture your own energy, renewable energy. You know, sunlight, wind, whatever. And even a step further, we go out into space. So, Mr. Musk, Elon Musk, and Jeff Bezos, if you're watching this, I doubt it, but that's what we need. We need affordable transport, multi-medium transport vessel that we can all live in. Uh, so that's my little dream here. But so as a reminder, I'm looking at pictures because I have a little video. Let me see, like a wall picture that cycles through all the pictures, like all the trips I've been on, different places. So sometimes my eyes go up there and look at it, and I'm like, just kind of going through my own brain memories. I'm like, where was that? Like a lot of it's like sunset pictures, uh, sun sunrise. Um, so, anyways, I hope you learned something great. Hopefully you got something out of this video. And feel free to comment below. Got any questions? Any suggestions of books to read, books to share? I don't know what book I'm going to do next. To be honest with you, we're halfway through here. About is that halfway? Oh, well, almost halfway. Uh, okay, so I'm going to say goodbye, or hope to see you next. Hope to see you next video. Hope you're doing well. Take care of yourself. Go out, go out and talk to somebody. Talk to the person at a drive-through. Smile. Smiles are contagious. If you can smile, make a genuine smile. You can kind of tell when you're not genuinely smiling. I can tell, but if you can make a genuine, all that metaverbal communication. Yeah, I mean, even just go out and just to you don't want to act like you're staring at somebody too long, but you know, if people's talking, eye contact. Learn to be a good listener. That's something really valuable. Just you don't even have to say anything. You just listen. Uh, but I think what I'm gonna do is, I mean, I got too many. I got like hundreds of projects to do. I'm sure you have thousands of projects or whatever too. But it's probably it's good to have a little bit of variety. You don't want to be so extreme in one thing or another. And I'm kind of extreme in terms of not spending enough time to actually uh, physically interact with people. Uh, so it's kind of weird. This pandemic was kind of normal for me in some ways because it's social distancing. I'm used to social distancing my whole life almost. I mean, that's why I'm so into books. I mean, it just gives me a lot of time to look at books during the pandemic. Um, but that's not a healthy balance, and it's not really natural. Uh, so, so yeah, I got to change that in myself. That's another reason why I'm reading this book. If you want to have any interaction with civilization, you got to have a good, you got to be able to converse with people. I think especially if a person's homeless. I mean, this book is probably one of the most valuable books for people who are homeless. So hopefully, if you are homeless and at the library watching this, be sure to check this book out. Have a read. um, but yeah, it's extremely valuable if you want to interact with civilization to and to receive the benefits of civilization is to be able to have good conversations with people and have good relationships with people. Now, if you're Elephant Man, that would be hard to do. You'd be a super genius if you were Elephant Man and were able to interact with civilization. If you don't know what I mean by Elephant Man, it's like if you look really different than everybody else, or you're alien or something like that, extraterrestrial. How do you interact with sapien monkeys or sapiens? That'd be a super genius to do that. But I think hopefully most everybody. I mean, if you don't look normal, I mean, I don't know. I guess people can put masks on, but we've been wearing masks for like doing this for 3 years. Oh, it's like such a long time to do that. That was weird. The only time I saw it was like when I went to Hong Kong, 2016 or 2015. I can't remember now. 2015, I think. Everybody at the airport was wearing masks, and this was before the pandemic. So at least I had a little pre-pandemic preview. But yeah, I think the whole world's kind of had post-traumatic stress disorder now because of what happened. It's a weird experience. Uh, I'm glad. I hope it's over with. It seems like I keep my fingers crossed. I don't want any more pandemics. Just carry an ultraviolet light all over the place. Just bombard everything with ultraviolet light. That supposedly destroys viruses and bacteria. Um, but too much of it could cause skin cancer, I think. But yeah, if you're ever sick, it's good. It's probably good to be out in the sun a little bit for like 15 minutes. If you happen to have sunlight nearby, because that can probably maybe I don't know anything. I'm not a medical doctor or anything, but maybe some of that natural ultraviolet light can probably help you out a little bit. So I'm already an hour. I mean, so I gotta watch this whole video for a whole hour. This encouraged me. I need to make shorter videos probably because I know if I have a hard time watching myself for a whole, I had one video that was like 4 hours long. I couldn't believe I did 4 hour video. So I watched the whole 4 hours by myself, watching myself talk. Uh, but like part of this too, the reason why I'm doing this is kind of like therapy. It's like a little self therapy. I'm on the couch and I'm talking to you guys. You're my psychologist, so I'm laying back on the couch and I'm just talking here, so you guys can give me some free psychotherapy. No, I'm doing it with myself. I'm making that big brain connection between the two hemispheres, like good old Albert. So you guys take. I'm saying goodbye. I have this hard time saying goodbye. So yeah, hopefully see you next video maybe in future space time continuum, space time dimension. And you have a great day, whatever you do. Uh, Enjoy yourself. Go out and talk to somebody. Say hi. Give somebody a hug if they let you. Somebody may not everybody wants to get hugged, but I'm sure you can find somebody to hug, right? Uh, that'd be an interesting challenge for Mr. Beast. see see how many people they can get to hug, or like see who can hug for the longest. You get. I haven't watched many of Mr. Beast videos, but they're pretty interesting. He's got these challenges. I'm just curious. Now I got myself curious here. He's like the number one YouTube skipper. Uh, let's see what Mr. Beast is up to. So his latest video. Oh, I was subscribed to him. Now I'm subscribed for some reason, but so the latest one was 1 month ago. As I survived 50 hours in Antarctica. But he has weird things like, yeah, he touched a jet. It's like the Squid Game movie, which is kind of freaky, you know. I But yeah, he's capitalized off of challenging challenges. We like challenges. It's like when I travel, I kind of like different challenges. Traveling is challenging. I don't know what your YouTube feed looks like, but I subscribe to too many things. I guess I'm subscribed to like 370 channels. Oh, which reminds me of this song. I don't know if you've heard the song, but it's called 57 Channels and Nothing On. Mine's a nothing channel. But um I'm reading one about tanks, Abrams tanks, another one. I'm just gonna tell you like different videos on my feed. I don't know what your feed looks like. You gotta do like a YouTube feed sharing feed or video. I got Carl Sagan on here. I got Joe Rogan on here. I got Good Emotion Jazz, some robotics. Uh, Christopher Hitchens, John Stewart, Aliens, Bangkok, Capitalism versus Communism, Noam Chomsky, Mr. Mr. T, Eddie Murphy. I haven't seen Eddie Murphy in a long time. Eddie Murphy. He's one of my favorite comedians. I'll just play it first few seconds. Gumby, yeah, he played Gumby on Saturday Night Live. Um, I haven't seen him in ages. I'll have to put the I'll put you people uh, Eddie Murphy's. I'm curious to see the trailer. I don't know what the trailer is on that, but I may find myself watching some comedy after this video while it slowly uploads. Comedy is great. I love comedy. Uh, Laughing in the mind is funny. I mean, it's that's a fat. Why do we laugh? That's another. I guess it's the paradoxes or the weird things in our mind. It's like tickles your mind when you laugh. It's like mind tickling, tickling mind. So, anyways, I gotta upload this video. I will watch Eddie Murphy for a little bit, and then I'll go watch myself for an hour. Looks like an hour 10 minutes, and then put the hyperspace timestamp, warp time comments, on all the gibberish that I talked about, and hopefully you guys can use that to jump around. And yeah, okay. So how was the fifth time I say goodbye? Okay, you talk to you later. You do well. Say hi. Just go have like a few conversations with people today. I don't know, I need to do that. I need to go out somewhere and talk to some people. Okay, you take care of yourself. Uh, bye.